been a minute since we last checked in on Amanda Bynes, and it doesn't look like things are going so well in her personal life. She's struggling with her weight and has now turned to Ozempic. And she announced this to her followers on Instagram, saying she is at the start of her Ozempic journey and plans to document all of it for us to see. And she is saying her main reason for going on Ozempic isn't just for weight loss, it's also so that she can avoid getting unflattering paparazzi photos.
I respect the honesty. She's like, look, if I'm going to get captured by the paparazzi going out, I at least want to look good in the photo.
Let's see her Instagram video.
Here we go.
So going on Ozempic.
She's
so excited. I'm 173 now. So I hope to get down to like 130, which would be awesome. So I look better in paparazzi pictures and you don't see my double chin from strange angles. Yeah, so that's about it. I will post about my Ozempic journey, of course. And yeah, that's about it. Have a good night, everybody.
She was also in the middle of dyeing her hair.
I was gonna say it looks like she was dyeing her hair. Not as sad as seeing the hair dye on Tom Selleck's ear when he was dyeing his hair, but still pretty sad.
It is sad that she's still so focused on paparazzi photos. I think this has been a fixation of hers for a long time. Even back at the beginning of her, mental breakdown, you could call it. She was extremely plagued by insecurity about how she looked in paparazzi photos. I think at one point she even holed up in a hotel room and blacked out the windows with paint because she didn't want photos from the paparazzi of her unsuspecting or unposed. And this was something that caused her a lot of anxiety. I think it's gotten to the point where it's maybe a full-on, delusion.
Well, think about what
Not that the paparazzi aren't following her. They do take unflattering photos of her all the time, and they do stalk her around LA, despite the fact that she's not really famous anymore. And that certainly doesn't make her feel any more, stable or secure in her life. But
think about the whole discussion we just had about that I just brought up about retaking photos and authenticity. And, if you don't like the way the photo looks, you can just delete it and take it again. I'm sure for a celebrity these days, there's a certain feeling of violation that comes from pictures being purposely taken when you're not looking to be having your photo taken. And then the worst of them, where the literal goal is to find the worst of them and share them with everybody. That has to be tremendously violating for them.
That's why she started traipsing around the city in wigs and huge sunglasses and hiding her face with her handbag and all this stuff. And people said, she's doing that because she's crazy. But I mean, in a way, the paparazzi are just as crazy as her.
No, they're not. They're unfortunately they have a very, very specific and somewhat evil business model.
I'm just saying, I don't think either of us would be able to make it in their line of work because we have more principles.
I don't think I couldn't.
We would feel bad.
We talk about the stuff though. It's not like we don't bring attention.
If you
to
actually had to follow someone around and snap photos of them like that, that would not.
Yeah.
Really, I would.
But I still feel like that's cope on our. I feel like that's a little bit of cope on our part, where it's like, oh, we're not the ones taking the photos. We're still discussing it and making it part of the show, which is still part of it. It's just farther down the line.
I kid that one of my dream jobs is becoming one of the TMZ reporters who follows a celebrity around and asks them as many questions as possible before they peel off.
I wonder if they do I wonder if these photographers have a set routine where it's I'm going to follow this person, so I got to do my research today so I know what to ask them. What's their most recent scandal? What's their most recent embarrassment?
I'm sure Amanda Bynes and Justin Bieber could have a very fruitful conversation about their experience with being followed by paparazzi, since it seems to be sending Justin down a spiral of his own. This also reminded me, her face tattoo is still visible. Yeah. She got this heart tattooed on her face back in 2019, and I think it was not that long ago, she said she planned to get it removed last year. And still no sign of it fading, still fully visible.
She still had the OnlyFans.
So she's on her tattoo removal journey. She launched the OnlyFans just a couple of months ago. I have no idea the status of that. I'm not subscribed. But that was not for anything sexual, according to her. It was merely to have conversations with her fans.
Is there not like an app that they can use that doesn't have the same connotation where it's like literally just discussion? But even then, it's not like that can't become gross.
Minect from Patrick
Does
David.
Does she have a cameo? She should have a cameo. I bet you she's got a cameo.
I would pay for an Amanda Bynes cameo.
I bet you
for
she's
sure.
got a cameo.
That would be top dollar. Another celebrity has recently revealed her Ozempic use, and it's one we didn't expect. Lizzo has been on a weight loss journey, and all of this time that she's been losing weight and giving us progress updates on social media, she has claimed this is only due to lifestyle changes, moving more, and portion control, making smarter choices with her diet.
Well, she said she used to be a vegan, and she's not a
Yes.
vegan anymore, so she's cut out the caloric intake because she's not having as many carbs.
I mean, I was vegan for a while, and I was, by my own standards, kind of fat.
So
I think that might be
were you just eating
legitimate.
more bread?
I mean, because
Starches?
you're probably deficient in nutrients, and it makes your body trick itself into being hungry more often.
Yeah, you like the more, I know the term that people like is empty calories, but the more junk food that you eat, the harder it is to feel full. I definitely fall
The
victim
stereotype
to
is like,
that.
oh, Oreos are vegan. That means they're healthy.
Yeah.
But Lizzo revealed that she has at least tried to use Ozempic to lose weight in a recent interview with Trisha Paytas, which I did not expect to be part of this headline. She said that so far she has lowered her BMI by 10.5 and lost 16% of her body fat since January 2024. She tried the weight loss drug Ozempic and other GLP-1 medications, but they were not effective for her. She said, I've tried everything. It's just the science for me. Ozempic works because you eat less food. It makes you feel full. So if you can just do that on your own and get mind over matter, it's the same thing.
Okay, I hate it. I hate that. She's like, it's just, just like she skated over the hardest part for a lot of people.
Mind
which
over
is
matter.
That, that reminded me. I completely forgot to send this to you, but I remember this was from like 2 months ago. There is one man who can beat Ozempic, and that is of course Tracy Morgan, who out-eats Ozempic.
Yeah, he's the Ozempic final boss. They couldn't get him. But I think that this just means Lizzo, as a professional athlete, has higher agency than most people who struggle with their weight.
She's got to be at least in shape enough to not blow up when she's doing concerts. She has to be able to dance on stage without losing, becoming out of breath instantaneously.
She's got more self-control than most people. If she's able to just put mind over matter, that's what most people using Ozempic for weight loss are not capable of doing, which is why it's exploded in popularity. So I think she's just saying my Ozempic is self-control, which people do not want to hear.
Yeah.
That is not going to be a popular message. And you alerted me to this. A lot of people are noticing their birth control is not working when they're on Ozempic.
Beware.
I think it was already well known, but I could be wrong, that the birth control pill does not work for women who are obese because it doesn't metabolize the same way.
Yeah, it says these medications delay the absorption of food, so they may also delay or reduce the absorption of the birth control pill.
I just thought that it was self-evident that you couldn't be on the birth control pill if you were obese, and if you're on Ozempic for weight loss, you're obese. So why would you assume it's any different now that you're on Ozempic? But yeah, they're saying there's this new...
I think you might be overthinking. I don't know if it's as common to know that being obese makes it less effective.
I guess so. But
Like,
a doctor wouldn't tell an obese woman to get on the birth control pill for contraception purposes because it doesn't work. And now they're saying there's this new phenomenon of Ozempic babies. So you remember lockdown babies, COVID babies, people were stuck at home and had nothing better to do than reproduce. And there are a lot of COVID era babies for that reason. But now we're going to have an Ozempic baby boom because all of these people who assumed their birth control would work,
the baby boomers are
were
bad.
sorely mistaken.
You think the baby boomers are bad? Wait till we get to the semaglutide baby boomers. GLP-1 baby
I don't know if
boomers.
it causes like birth defects or health issues in the children conceived, but I hope not. But yeah, this is the thing. Most people who are on Ozempic for the purpose of weight loss, who aren't taking it because they have diabetes, they just are not capable of losing weight the quote-unquote traditional way. And that's the hard truth. I think people like us who have more agency and more self-control are judging it from a very narrow perspective, and we just assume that other people approach life the same way. But if you were in the medical field, if you were a nurse or a doctor, you would know full well there are people that are just not capable of making lifestyle changes.
Yeah, I mean, theoretically, in a perfect society, being obese would be the birth control, because nobody would want to have sex with you.
You would hope, but I mean, since most people are overweight in this country, it's kind of like you become blind to it.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they pair up just fine.
I believe Lizzo probably tried it and then went off of it. Do I believe she tried it one time? Not really. I would imagine she gave it some. My bet is more like there's a whole host of people who tried it consistently until it had negative side effects, and then they had to go off of it. Like, a lot of people aren't going to skip the easy way out unless there are real side effects to the easy way out. But you are correct that her being a professional and her having an active career, meaning that she has to be able to sing, she needs to be able to do work on stage, means that there's a lot more riding on it, and she can't just, she's not somebody who can just say, F it, I'm going to sit at home and eat chips all day, because she actually has concerts to perform and obligations she needs to fulfill, and has the benefit of being able to hire personal trainers and all that stuff. That's not to say that it doesn't make it your own responsibility, because that's my biggest pet peeve is whenever one of these celebrities gets into tremendous shape for a movie role, and then people are like, well, it's because they're privileged. I'm like, yeah, that's true, but that doesn't mean that you're gonna be any less dead if you get to be obese and then die. Like, eventually you have to figure it out yourself.
Right.
People do the same thing when they talk about the cost of food, when they say like, well, it's a privilege to be able to be thin because I can't afford to eat.
I saw that debate raging on X over the weekend,
and
actually.
And the thing is that most of the time I agree with them. I'm like, okay, you're right. What are you gonna do about it? Because it's not like does you being right make it okay to like go to your grave knowing that you were right? That's not really going to help anything. Like, eventually at some point you have to rely on yourself to fix your own problem. Right.
You're not going to get the last word. You need to just deal with your own shit.
Yeah. So.
But Lizzo is smarter than she lets on.
I think so.
She was fat for a very self-serving reason.
Yep.
And it
now she's
obviously
losing weight
blew up
for
her
a very
career.
Self-serving reason.
Yeah, she benefited immensely from being obese at the moment when it was advantageous for her, and before this cultural vibe shift hit. And as soon as being obese is no longer trendy, she's gonna hop on the weight loss bandwagon and enjoy the riches.
Yeah.
So, I mean, get that bag, I guess.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.